If you don't like politics but still care about what shapes our country, then this story matters. Even if you usually tune out the noise of political debates, the events that unfolded on September 10, 2025, have sent shockwaves far beyond the usual circles of pundits and partisans. This isn't just about one man or one ideology. It's about the state of our nation, the safety of our public spaces, and the future of civil discourse in America. In a time when many feel exhausted by the constant churn of political headlines, this tragedy has forced everyone, regardless of their beliefs, to pause and reflect on what's happening to our country. Charlie Kirk's assassination is a moment no one can ignore. The news broke like a thunderclap, interrupting regular programming and dominating social media feeds within minutes. People across the nation, from college students to retirees, found themselves glued to their screens trying to process the unthinkable. The sense of disbelief was palpable. How could something like this happen here in America at a university event meant to foster discussion and debate? Here's why. On September 10, 2025, the nation was stunned by the fatal shooting of Charlie Kirk during a speaking event at Utah Valley University. The campus, usually a place of learning and lively debate, was transformed in an instant into a scene of chaos and fear. Sirens wailed through the night as police and emergency vehicles converged on the university, their lights casting an eerie glow over the shocked faces of students and faculty. For many, the campus will never feel the same again. Kirk, just 31 years old, was the founder of Turning Point USA, a group known for energizing young conservatives and supporting former President Donald Trump. Over the past decade, Kirk had become a household name in political circles, drawing both passionate supporters and fierce critics. His rallies were often packed with young people eager to hear his message of limited government, free markets, and traditional values. Whether you agreed with him or not, there's no denying that Kirk was a force in American politics, shaping the conversation for a new generation. The attack happened while Kirk was on stage, speaking to a crowd as part of his American Comeback tour. The event was meant to be a celebration of free speech and civic engagement, drawing hundreds of attendees from across the region. Security was present, but no one could have anticipated the violence that would erupt that night. Witnesses recall the moment of confusion, a sudden, sharp sound followed by panic as people dove for cover. In the chaos, the sense of safety that many had taken for granted was shattered. Authorities say the shooter fired from a rooftop position with a high-powered rifle. Investigators believe the attack was carefully planned, with the shooter taking advantage of the elevated vantage point to target Kirk as he spoke. Law enforcement teams swept the area, searching rooftops and securing the perimeter, but the suspect managed to escape in the confusion. The use of such a weapon and the calculated nature of the attack have raised troubling questions about security at public events and the growing threat of political violence in America. Kirk was struck once in the neck. Despite the efforts of emergency responders, he died at the scene. Paramedics rushed to his side within moments, but the wound was catastrophic. The auditorium, once filled with the energy of debate and discussion, fell silent as the reality of what had happened set in. For those who were there, the trauma of witnessing such violence will linger for years to come. The loss of a young leader in such a public and brutal way has left a deep scar on the community and the nation as a whole. The suspect remains at large, and the investigation is ongoing. Police have released a composite sketch and are urging anyone with information to come forward. The search has expanded beyond the university, with federal agencies joining the hunt for the shooter. The uncertainty and fear have gripped not just Utah Valley University, but communities across the country. People are asking who could do this and why. Was it politically motivated or the act of a lone individual with a personal vendetta? The answers remain elusive, fueling speculation and anxiety. The response has been immediate and intense. President Trump called it a dark moment for America. In a televised address, he spoke of the dangers of political hatred and the need for unity in the face of tragedy. "We must not let violence silence our voices or divide our nation further," he said, his tone grave and resolute. The president's words echoed the feelings of millions who are struggling to make sense of the violence and what it means for the future of American democracy. Vice President J.D. Vance and leaders from both parties condemned the violence, warning that political hatred is pushing the nation to the brink. In a rare show of bipartisanship, politicians from across the spectrum stood together to denounce the attack and call for a return to civility. "We cannot allow our differences to become deadly," Vance declared, urging Americans to reject extremism and embrace dialogue. The message was clear. The stakes are too high for division and violence to become the new normal. Vigils and memorials are being held nationwide as people mourn Kirk's death. In cities large and small, Americans are coming together to light candles, lay flowers, and share memories of a man whose life was cut short. The outpouring of grief has crossed political lines, with people from all backgrounds expressing shock and sadness. For many, these gatherings are a way to process their emotions and stand in solidarity against the forces of hatred and violence. As the country reflects, this tragedy reminds us how fragile civil discourse can be. The American flag flies at half-mast, a symbol of national mourning, and a call to remember what unites us. Conversations in homes, schools, and workplaces have turned to questions of safety, tolerance, and the future of our democracy. How did we get here? What can we do to prevent this from happening again? The answers are not easy, but the need for honest dialogue has never been greater. Let's strive for respect and safety, no matter our politics. In the wake of tragedy, we have a choice: to retreat into fear and anger, or to come together and reaffirm our commitment to peaceful debate and mutual respect. The path forward will not be easy, but it begins with each of us, listening, learning, and refusing to let violence define who we are as a nation. The story of Charlie Kirk's assassination is not just a headline, it's a wake-up call. Let's answer it with courage, compassion, and a renewed dedication to the values that make America strong.